let's speak to Sam Matterface, who's just been speaking to Antonio Conte. We will hear that audio in a minute. But Sam, how are you?
Right, Sam.
What's going on?
Well, blockbuster news from Turf Moor. I've just spoken to Antonio Conte in the bowels of Turf Moor. We had to be pushed into a radio room because of a hailstorm which came almost immediately as the game had finished. I've just run up to the press box to try and get back to you guys because I've just spoken to him and he has indicated that his tenure as the Tottenham manager may be coming to an end. The way he was talking to me, and you'll hear the audio in just a second, he suggested that he needs to speak to the club to come up with a solution. He talked about the amount of money that he was being paid, his salary he talked about, and the fact that Tottenham had lost 4 of the last 5 games, and that was unacceptable. He wasn't used to it. I asked him if it was just an emotional reaction to what he'd seen tonight. He said, I am not emotional. I am too honest. I am too honest for this to be the case. And I need to speak to the club and come up with a solution. Now, he was not explicitly clear that he was going to leave. I asked him if he was thinking about resignation, and he said, I need to speak to the club. I asked him, the last thing I asked him, Jamie, before he walked out of the interview was, are you going to be the manager when I turn up to Elland Road on Saturday for Leeds against Spurs? And he says, I've finished, I'm walking away. And he walked off down the corridor and away onto the Spurs.
Well, yeah, but Sam, is he saying he's finished as in Spurs manager, or is he just finished talking to you?
Well, he was the one who I asked him to explain what he meant when he said, I need to speak to the club. I need to come up with a solution. I asked the way he was talking, Jamie, he was trying to infer that was the case.
He's got previous, as you well know, Sam, as well, hasn't he?
In terms of...
well, if things aren't going his way and he's not happy with the situation...
It was actually something I mentioned during commentary tonight when I mentioned about when opening day of the season 2017, Chelsea on the opening day, champions of England, turned up, and there Burnley came and rolled them over, and from that day on, things went downhill for Chelsea and for Antonio Conte. I must admit, it's taken me by real surprise. And I've just tweeted out, actually, what he said to me. I need to speak to the club. And we've asked for further clarification because we have had none. I've asked him for clarification. He wouldn't explicitly say that was what he was going, but he wouldn't deny it either. And that is a strong thing for a manager to do. Listen, I stand in these pitch-side interviews after matches every single week, every single game day. And, even when managers are under huge amounts of pressure, never do they suggest in such explicit ways that maybe it's time for them to walk away. That just doesn't happen. The fact that he said that tonight underscores that he's incredibly unhappy with the situation he's inherited at Tottenham Hotspur, and the fact that they're obviously in a terrible run. They did have a great victory last Saturday against Manchester City. I asked him, was it the performance that has got you so emotional tonight? He said, no. It's not about the performance. It's about the overall situation. We've lost 4 out of 5 games. We're not used to it.
He's not happy, Sam, with the whole club, is he? I think he's gone in there and he's seen that this is a way bigger rebuild or situation he's found himself in. He's gone in there, he's seen the players and thought, okay, I can make something out of this. But actually, when he's gone there, he's realised, this ain't for me.
Well, listen, we all thought that when he walked into the club that he would have to have a hell of a lot of investment to turn it into the kind of competitor that he would like to see, because this is a guy that's used to winning titles, not competing to be in the top 4. This is a guy that's won titles with Inter Milan, with Chelsea, was brilliant with Italy at the Euros prior to that. Juventus won 3 championships in a row. This is not a guy that is an also-run. He is the first time he's ever lost 3 games in a row in a league since he was at the Atalanta as the manager back at the end of the 2000s.
But he's quite emotional, Sam, though, isn't he? He's an emotional guy, especially after games. You get him straight after a game.
Exactly. And
wears his heart on his sleeve, and sometimes you can say things.
Yeah, and that was in my mind as I was asking him the questions, and that's why I said to him, is this an emotional reaction? And he said explicitly, I'm not emotional. You'll hear the audio in just a second, and I hope that you can make from it, you can sort of interpret it the same way as I have. I've sat there with my producer. I sat with Steve Wyeth, who was conducting the interviews for the television as well, and everybody came up with the same conclusion. This is what he's trying to tell us. And I'm actually shocked, really stunned, in fact, that he was so open about it. Now, it may well be that when he gets on the coach or when he gets back to London, Daniel Levy talks him round and says, look, come on, we can do this, we can add this in, or we can promise to recruit like this in the summer, and things may change. But at this moment in time, we are at a precipice where Antonio Conte could be leaving Tottenham Hotspur Football Club at this point in time. And that, in the aftermath of what's happened over the course of the whole week, is quite extraordinary.
All right, Sam, thanks for letting us know, and fantastic getting that interview out of him. You heard it here on talkSPORT that Antonio Conte is heavily suggesting to talkSPORT's Sam Matterface that he may quit.